Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dharma with Streaming. Today, we are going to continue to discuss about the Four Noble Truths um, topic. And this Four Noble Truths, last week, we start with the first Noble Truth, which is the suffering. And last week, we talked about the first four types of suffering that none of us are able to avoid it or escape out from it. So the first one is the birth, second with aging, third is sickness, and fourth is death. So these are the four basic things in our life that all of us have to experience it. And now we are going to continue with another four type of suffering that all of us in some point of time we will experience it. So the first one is not being able to obtain what one desire. We always have desire in all kinds of things, but not everything we can get what we want. We have a lot of dreams, but not all dreams will come true. We do not want the weather that make us uncomfortable. We hope that every day is a nice day, every day with sunshine. It's not so hot, not so cold. But in the whole year, probably we won't have a lot of times that we have such a nice day. We do not want to have heavy traffic and being stuck in the traffic for hours. But early in the morning, when we go to work, we have to stuck in the traffic. And end of the day, when after work we go back home, again we stuck in the traffic. So when we are stuck in the traffic, it's something that we feel uncomfortable. We get impatient being stuck there, and there's nothing we can do besides on the radio, or sometimes some people will talk through the cell phone by the speaker. We do not want to face challenge in our life, but challenge always follow us. So every day we have all kinds of challenge, sometimes even every hours. We have all kinds of challenge. We do not hope to have challenge. We hope that everything is at peace. Everything goes smoothly. But we are facing a reality is that challenge is always besides us. So we hope that we have a peace of mind, but our mind does not listen to us. You will experience it when you are doing meditation. You hope to be peacefully sit there, but your mind doesn't allow you. We hope to have a new cell phone, a new laptop, but we do not have enough money to buy it. We hope to be rich, but we work so much, we work so hard, but we do not have enough money. We hope to have all kinds of things that can satisfy us, but we are unable to satisfy ourselves. So we hope, we have a lot of hope. We want a lot of things, but you realize that every time we want it, most of the time we are unable to satisfy or get it. And due to this dissatisfaction in our desire, we are always unhappy. We kept chasing for the external material things around us and live in disappointment. It is so difficult to obtain what we want and what we desire. There are so many things that we want to. We want to have a big house. We want to live in a nice place. We want to have a person that loves us a lot. We hope to have a very peaceful family. The kids are very nice. And we hope that we work in a very good environment. Hope to have a lot of money so that we can buy things we want. There's so many hope. And this hope become desire. And this desire cause us unable to stop this desire. So that's the reason why we always have things that we chase after. The desire is always there. But most of the time, we cannot get what we want to have. So this is the fifth suffering that the Buddha introduced to us. The sixth suffering. meeting those whom one hates. There are always people that we dislike that around us. We don't feel comfortable to see certain people. But sometimes we don't know why. Most of the time, they appear in front of us, and we do not know what is the reason that this person doesn't like us. We don't know why we're always faced with certain people that are so annoying. We don't know why when we face people that are so selfish or with a lot of anger. And their hatreds to us, unhappy with us, dislike us, cause us to feel very uncomfortable and sometimes even very suffering. And that's why we try our best to avoid them. But you'll realize that when we try to avoid them, they always appear in front of us. We hope that they don't appear in front of us, but in sometimes it just happens that they come in front of us. Maybe we'll say that, okay, in that case, I'm going to resign or leave this place to shift to another place to avoid such person. But you realize something is that when you shift to another place, no matter where you go, you will still meet this kind of people. The people that you really dislike about, uncomfortable with, that makes you suffer. And you realize that why? I always meet with certain people that I dislike. I don't feel comfortable. And why these people keep appearing in front of me? What is the reason behind? And also, that might be people that dislike us too. And also around us that make our life very difficult. We did nothing wrong, but we just have someone that really dislike us. And it is so difficult to get everybody to like us. It's just like a couple. Before they get married, they love each other a lot. After they get married, or they have been together for a long time, the love starts to change. When the love starts to change, sometimes it's still okay, but some people become hatred. So they do not want to see each other, but they still live under the roof. You might say that, oh, in that case, why don't they separate out? But before they separate, they definitely will go through a path of pain. The dislike, uncomfortable, hatred feeling will be a struggle over there for both of them. And even when they separate out, this pain and struggle may last for a period of time. And sometimes we will ask ourselves, why am I so bad luck that I meet with this type of people? Why I have to experience this type of experience whereby the hatred is there? And these hatreds make us pain, make us suffer. And we continue with the seventh suffering. Separations from those whom once loved. All of us will experience in our lifetime, our family or the people around us will depart from our life. Whether we like it or not, this is something that more or less, or I should say no choice, we will have to experience it. When our parents get older and older, one day they will pass away and leave us. We might feel very pained, hopeless, lonely, but this is something that will definitely happen. When our children started to grow up, they start to have their own life. They have their friends. They have their family. They have their own life. They will move out they need to have time by themselves. So you realize that they start to leave you and set up their own personal life. They won't be with you like when they were still a child. You might feel the feeling of loneliness, but this is the reality. It happens to your parents as well. When you grow up, you start to have your own friend, you start to have your own family. Your parents is no more your entire life. They become just part of your life. Someone we love might leave us, or you might leave someone you love. Maybe depart to separate out to different countries due to work. Due to a lot of reason, the people that we love, we can't be with them. We might feel pain. But again, this is the reality. There are people come and people go in our life. Most of the time, we don't have a choice. Just think about this. When we were born, we have our family, our parents around us. They are our main focus. And we start to grow up, we go to school, we start to have our friends in the kindergarten. And then after that, we need to go to the primary school. Our kindergarten friend will have to depart from us. We have to say goodbye to them as well. And in our primary school, we go from one level to another level. Our classmates come and our classmates go. And then after that, we go to high school and then go to colleges, university. There are so many people that we know them. We get so close to them, but they have to leave us someday. Even we have a friend that we are so close, but each of us have their own family, the focus will shift to their family. So when we understand that even relationship, friendship, family relationship, parents relationship, it is also impermanent. And we understand that this is the reality. But we do not deny it. We still feel the pain when we experience the separation from the loved one, but we accept it and we move on. So this is the 7th suffering. And the 8th suffering, arising from the 5 components. So what are these 5 components? These 5 components are very important in Buddhism. They are form, or we call it material image, impressions, things that we can see. Sensation, feeling, received from form, things we see, things we touch, we feel. Perceptions, mental activities or formations, and consciousness. These 5 components that arise from our body and mind will bring us all kinds of emotional reaction, such as joy, happiness, sadness, sorrow, all kinds of feeling that we will come out from our body. These emotional feelings or reactions are also impermanent. However, when we observe it carefully, we realize that the joy, happiness, ease feeling does not last for very long. For example, If you go to a party, you feel very happy. Very happy when you're in a party, you dance, you have a good time with your friends, good food. You enjoy a lot. You laugh, you smile a lot. And after the party, all party has to end. After the party, you go back home, you might still have the joy with you, but somebody will start to feel the loneliness. Somebody might still have the joy with them for the night before they sleep. And the next day when they wake up, will you still have the same level of joy while you are in the party? You realize that the happiness and joy actually start to reduce. It won't bring you for a long time, sometimes not even a half day. And some people, even when they wake up, the joy is no more there. You observe it carefully, you realize that the happiness that we have, the joy that we have, the things that we enjoy, or the peace feeling that we have, actually does not last very long if you don't practice meditation. In another way, for the sadness, sorrow, lonely, painful feeling, it will last for a very long time. When we get sad, we feel sorrow. Don't you realize that it will drag for days? You will feel very weak. You don't have energy to work the next day. You don't have the energy to work for the week. Especially when somebody left you, somebody passed away. You realize that it drags for very long, somebody even for years. And it's so difficult to recover back from this negative emotion. So, our negative emotions from our 5 components are much stronger and longer than our positive emotion. And most of the time, we can't control it. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to handle the lonely feeling, the painful feeling. And because of we can't control, we can't stop it, it easily leads us to depression. A lot of people get depression is because they drag for too long. And you might ask me, is that Venerable, how do we shorten it or stop it? Before you ask how, perhaps the first thing to think is that, do you want to shorten it or stop it? If you are unwilling to let it go or reduce it, reduce this pain, this sorrow, this lonely feeling, nobody can help you to reduce it or stop it. So come back to what we discussed earlier. What are you looking for? I give an example. Somebody have this serious sickness such as cancer in the late stage. They might go through certain treatment, but they will lose their quality of life. They can continue to live on the treatment, but they will lose the quality of life. And somebody will say that, what's the point of living if you lost the quality of life? So because of this, people get depressed and they don't know what to do. If you understand that life, it doesn't matter it's 20 years, 30 years, or 40 years, or 100 years. It's whether do we fully utilize, cherish this life, and cherish this body. When we understand about the value of our life, we will think about which one is more important. If you understand the reality of life, that separation, that death, that sickness are part of us, we will definitely know that it will come someday. And then why don't we just make a wise choice on how we live our life? So how we stop it is important, but it's not as important as that, do you want to stop it? Do you want to stop suffering? If you want to stop suffering, then you will know what to do when you continue to know about what is the cause of suffering and the path leads to the end of suffering. So in our last class and this class, we basically talks about the 8 types of sufferings that we are all familiar with. We know about this, we experience it, we know that in some point of the time, it will come to us. And why are we still having such a pain, uncomfortable feeling when we face it? What is the reason that causes us? We have to find the reasons that cause us to stop this suffering. Because if we don't understand the reason that arises when we face the reality, we won't know how to deal with it. So I would like to reintroduce the first noble truth, suffering. And in here, I just basically introduce the 8 suffering. There are all kinds of sufferings that we face. These are the basic and general suffering. So the first is birth. All of us, when we get born into this world, is the time we begin the path to experience all kinds of challenges and tasks in our life. Our physical body and our mental reactions. We have to experience it whether we want it or not. That's our life experience. Aging. We don't like to hear this word getting old or old. However, none of us are able to avoid or escape from this reality. The people around us pass away, get old and pass away. We get old as well. Our physical body will experience the decay and it gets weaker and weaker, and we can't control it. And the most difficult part is that we can't control it. Especially when we get older and older, we know that we are getting closer and closer to death. The next suffering is sickness. In our entire life, every one of us, more or less, will experience some kind of sickness. Physically, we will get sick. Mentally, we will also get sick if we do not know how to manage the sickness. And the other one is death. We feel fear about death. We do not want to hear death, but we can't escape from it. The reason that we are afraid of death is because we do not know where we will be going after we died. Because of this unknown, we get fear. We don't know what to do. We feel lonely and lost. And the most important thing is that We're unable to control this unknown path. So this is why we are so afraid of death, because we don't know what will we be when we depart from our body. And next suffering is not being able to obtain what one desire. There are so many things that we crave for. So many things, from external material to internal needs, physical, emotional needs. We hope to have happiness, but it's so difficult to get. We hope to have everything. We hope that people will love us. We hope that we can get the love from people. We hope to have the satisfaction, all kinds of satisfaction, but we can't get it. Because we can't get it, we feel frustration, anger, and all this causes us to have suffer. The next will be meeting those whom one hated. There are always people around us that dislike us, and also we dislike them. No matter where we go, there are always this kind of people, and we might be the persons that people dislike, and we are always around them. And you will realize that it seems like it can't avoid. Nobody in this world will be a person that is so popular and liked by everyone. And you might ask why? Why the relationship, good relationship, is so difficult to get? You might ask why. So in our life, we have to meet people that we like or we don't like. And ends up, we have this uncomfortable feeling. The next suffering, separation from those whom we love. All of us in our entire life, we will experience our family or people around us depart from our life. Our parents get old, and one day they will pass away and leave us. Our children start to grow older and older, growing up. They start to have their friends, their family, their kids. They leave us as well. Someone we love might leave us due to all kinds of reasons. So in our life, just think about it. How many people come and go? And then people will come again and go. And we are also the person that also come and go in other people's life. And this separation is not something that we feel comfortable. We will have the feeling of loss and sadness. And the last, number 8, suffering, arises from the 5 components. These 5 components arises from our body and mind, which bring us all kinds of emotional reaction, such as joy, happiness, sadness, sorrow, comfortable or uncomfortable feeling, and etc. All these emotional reactions are impermanent. However, when we observe it closely, you realize that the comfortable, joy, happy, ease feeling does not last for a long time. But the unhappiness, the anger, the frustration, the lonely feeling lasts very long. And most of the time, we can't control. We let it continue to drag a long time. And one day, we get depression because we do not know how to manage it. So in our entire life, in our lifetime, we experience all kinds of things. And how many things that actually bring us real happiness, real peace of mind, and real ease feeling. And how many things in our life that make us feel sad, sorrow, painful, and how long they last for. So all this feeling is something that we have to experience it. And all this reality is something that we have to face it. And since we can't stop this, that happens around us, then how do we deal with them? How do we face them but not drop into further suffering? So the Buddha taught us is that before we want to resolve our reality challenge, the first thing is that we have to understand what caused us to suffer when we encounter these realities. And this will be something that I will discuss with you in the next class on the cause of suffering. We have to know what caused us to get sick before we know how to apply the medicine. Sickness, challenge, trouble comes from all kinds of things. We have to understand what are these all kinds of things. And this is something is very important before we really want to solve it or not. Because the persons that want to solve it is not the Buddha or the Venerable, it's you yourself. So today, I will stop over here. We already introduced the first noble truth, which is the suffering, the 8 types of suffering, basic suffering. And I hope that you have time to think about it. And next class, we are going to talk about the cause of suffering. Thank you very much. 阿弥陀佛。